Geocache talk, a voice on the line I hear, coming through Geocache talk.
Ready for an adventure that welcomes everyone? Dive into Cache Odyssey. Cache Odyssey is 6 fully accessible geo tours where every geocache is designed for everyone, regardless of their abilities. Each hidden cache tells a unique story, bringing people together on a journey of discovery. So, whether you're a seasoned geocacher or a new adventurer, get ready to experience the thrill like never before.
If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Logwork, the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine Write in the Rain paper. The logbook's designed for the micro containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who'd rather go caching than doing cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's logwerk.com.
Calling all geocachers. At artedcrafted.com, we create unique apparel designed by geocachers for geocachers. From custom t-shirts to personalized mugs, our gear lets you express your passion. Stand out at your next event with artedcrafted.com. artedcrafted.com. Gear up for your next geocaching adventure.
All right. Well, welcome. Big thanks to our new patrons, Hawaiian Miley. I think I saw they were in the chat room. Buzz82 and Captain Math. And to all our patrons that keep this show on the air. And trust me, they do keep the show on the air because the bills have to be paid. We heard bills. Yeah, they got to get paid. So, all right. Big show tonight. Let me bring in the co-hosts of the Geocache Talk, Jesse and John.
Howdy.
Welcome. We have so much to cover tonight. So much. So let's do this. Breaking news that we'll get to in a minute. But first, some other news. John, start us off and tell us about. Maybe not.
Well, Gary, I'm ready, Gary, to talk about Pizza Talk, the brand new show on the Geocache. Oh, come on, Gary. You said 2025 was the year.
No, oh my goodness. Oh my good. No. We're not gonna.
Are you craving cheesy goodness? It's time for Pizza Talk. Whether you're at your
no,
yeah, now we're talking. We're talking, guys. Yeah, check this out in the chat room. People are excited. Happy Hodag. Yeah, Tim, he's excited on this one. Everybody's excited for Pizza Talk.
I tell you what, someday.
Okay,
but not. But today is not that day.
Oh man, guys, I had pizza twice today. I was ready.
No. All right, quick update on Jasper coins. You can buy them again shortly, but not yet. Coins are temporarily on hold until the coins can be fixed. Yikes. They do not have trackable codes on them.
Which happens. That happens at the manufacturer. They're still coming.
Yep.
Same price. They're going to get to everybody.
Yep.
The first batch ran through without numbers. And, luckily they're going to show up and we're going to get them to everybody. So,
yeah. And then they'll be we'll be good from then on. But I did I did contact everybody who had purchased and give them the option. You want your full refund? Do you want to wait for the coins? Because it's going to be March, middle of March before they'll be available. Or do you want the coins without them? And
there's just plenty of time just to get more Jasmers. You may not have completed all the Jasmers yet. Lose.
Exactly.
And you can get it for real.
The ironic thing is that one person on one of the order, we had like 18 orders. One of the orders of the 18 said, just send me the coins. I don't care about the trackables.
You know what? So I thought about that when I saw that, and I thought that's not totally out of the realm of, like, let me ask y'all this. So Gary, you're not a big trackable guy. I mean, I like my coins, I like my trackables. John, you're not really a trackable guy. Like, you have them, but you're not like obsessed with them.
No, I'm not obsessed, but if there's some cool ones, man, I
get that. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
So, have you activated every trackable that you've ever purchased?
No,
okay.
Absolutely not.
Gary, have you?
I don't even know what.
So
I don't even
honestly,
know what trackable
you
is.
could have trackables that are not trackable that could still be in your collection, and it wouldn't even matter.
Yeah,
95% of my coins behind me that you can't see right now because I got the other thing up are unactivated.
So
Because
it doesn't actually matter if those have trackable numbers on them or not.
No, I don't care.
You know, that's part of my.
I still
that's part of my retirement planning, though, Jesse, is to get all those coins unactivated, and especially with those Jasmer ones, because those are going to sell for sweet prices down the road.
Oh yeah, that's true. You know, now, here's the thing: if y'all have been on eBay, they do sell for sweet prices.
They do sometimes, yes.
Yeah,
I agree.
But
if you were at the Cracker Barrel in Foley, Alabama, on a certain time, you could have bought them. You could have just bought them right there. So Patty bought one. So there you go.
Chad says he doesn't activate his coins; they lose their value. First of all,
yeah,
Chad was probably the kind of kid that like kept his Star Wars toys wrapped in the box.
Oh, absolutely.
Keep their value. No, I am ripping that Joker up open the second I get it. I promise you. Like all my comic books were worth nothing. You know, I collected comic books and like baseball cards when I was a kid, and worth nothing because I read through them, and that's how I learned how to draw. I wasn't going to keep those Jokers packaged up. If oh my gosh, we all do that, right? Like I had the He-Man toys and stuff. Like if you'd have kept them in the package, they'd be worth thousands of dollars.
Tons.
But you wouldn't have played with your toys when you were a kid. Play with your toys, kids. Play with your toys. That's all I'm saying. But totally off topic because my point was those ones without trackables. I could have several coins that didn't have any trackable numbers on it, and I wouldn't even know because I don't even pay attention until I go to activate them. Yeah, and I haven't activated probably 50% of the coins that I have.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
knew it. I was right. Right.
Yeah, I knew it was. Yeah.
Play with your toys, Chad. That's why he's got so many toys now because he didn't play with them as a kid.
Yeah.
Because he's got a lot of cool stuff.
Smart thinking. That's why Chad.
So just email. We'll give you all the details on that. If you've got one. Yeah, no problem.
We'll swap it.
We're taking care of everybody, so you don't have to worry about it at all.
We'll swap it with you.
Yeah,
not a problem.
100%.
We'll get it fixed.
That was not anybody's fault that bought them. Manufacturer just had a miscommunication. Yeah. They're totally taking care of it too. So
they are.
No ill will there at all.
No, we'll get it. We'll get it worked out.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bamarama, since I mentioned Patty buying one while I was there. They did come out with Bamarama 2026. Wow, it's a different event date. It's a week later, so it's February 21st. But it's in the show notes if you want to. Go ahead. What's wrong?
This is a conspiracy. This is bull crap. That is my daughter's birthday.
No,
go to Megas. What is the problem with you people?
You know, Jesse, everybody at this point is like, does Jesse have like 20 kids or something?
I have 2. It's
kids
not that hard to
graduating.
plan around them, guys. Come
Really?
on.
Really? Dead grandmother? Again? How many dead grandmothers are you going to have this time?
Yeah, which means it was my daughter's birthday this weekend. So that's what we went and did a lot this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, instead of, a couple geocaches, but not much. But that's seriously my daughter's birthday. People, don't y'all know to clear this stuff with me first before you're in your mega? I'm going to have to give y'all geocachetalk@gmail.com. Send us an email. Clear it all with me from now on. We can't.
Anyway,
if anybody's mega planning for next year, feel free to ask Jesse when his wife's birthday is as well too.
Yes, that's right. There's only a few days off the books. That's no good for me. Reschedule Bamarama, please. Can you reschedule that?
Probably
it's
not.
Right. It's like the second closest mega to me. You can't do that to me.
Probably not.
Right, move on.
Anyway, so that's we're gonna have a show. We got more. We got so many.
How do I kick this person out? How do I do that? Where's that button to kick that person out? They know I'm not going to GigaStock.
He knows he can't go.
Yeah,
family.
That's like a rule about never going to a Giga. I think that's a
family.
Rule.
Fake news. Fake news. No such thing as a Giga. That's fake. What does Giga stand for? It doesn't stand for 5,000.
No.
Look it up. Go Google what Giga stands for. It's not 5,000. That's why I know it's fake news. Move on.
Glad to see Jim's on. Hang in there, buddy. Get well soon, buddy. He's in,
man.
He's in the hospital, so get you out of there quick. Get you out on the trail again. Yes, he did, Sean. He did miss the last one.
I didn't miss it if it was fake.
It was fake.
Keep on telling yourself that. Keep on.
Okay. All right. So more on Bamarama and Megas coming out in March. We have another John's cooked up a crazy scheme for middle of March, so stay tuned for that. And then
up like a pizza, might I add? Yeah.
Oh dear.
So let me spill some beans.
It's not bean spillage. Don't call it bean spillage.
It's not bean spillage?
It's not bean. If it's the section I'm going over, it's not bean spillage yet.
No, it's not. But we're announcing.
Let's go ahead. Beans. Just beans. It's beans.
All right.
Yeah. Let the beans. Let them.
Let me roll that beautiful bean footage. All right. Here we go.
The adventure of a lifetime is setting sail. Join us on an unforgettable cruise to Sweden, where geocaching meets breathtaking Nordic landscapes. Alongside our friends from the Geocache Talk Network, we'll explore hidden treasures, swap stories with fellow geocachers, and unlock the secrets of Sweden's most scenic caches. But that's not all. This trip is extra special. We're on a mission to find the legendary fourth loop of the Jasmer Challenge, GC4D, the Match Stash. This is the oldest currently active geocache in Sweden and the second oldest in Europe. It is still being maintained by its original owner. From sunrise over the Baltic to the thrill of discovering hidden gems, every moment is a new adventure. Pack your phone and trackables, bring your sense of adventure, and get ready for an epic journey. This is geocaching like you've never experienced before.
See, I threw trackables in there too. So.
Yeah, it's beans, but it's not beans yet. So here's the true story with this, and we'll kind of give the details. So we are putting together the idea of going on a cruise that one of the stops will be the Match Stash. So to finish the Quad Jasmer and get that great coin, to finish the Quad Jasmer, we are looking at summer 2026. So let me give you the details of what we're talking about, just a general idea. And then what we're going to ask for at the end is people that are interested in potentially being able to go. We're going to need your email. Not your email. We need you to email in geocachetalk@gmail.com. We just need people that think, hey, this is something I might do. The reason why we're asking for that is we want to see if this is a project we can put together. We've talked to a travel agent. She said, yeah, we need X number of people. And then we can do something really cool. So I'm going to give you the general idea of what we're thinking about. And then in the next 2 weeks, so within 2 weeks from now, if we can get enough people to email in saying, this sounds like something cool, let's pursue it, we'll move forward. It's not a final commitment. It's just, hey, this sounds like something I would try to want to do. So here's the general, again, really general. The more people we get, the better it gets. So we'll see where we go. We want to gauge interest. Depending on one of 3 cruises that we pick, and we'll do this as a group, we will get 4 to 8 countries on the cruise. That's not flying in or flying out. That's on the cruise. 4 to 8 countries. Obviously, Sweden being the main one. Stockholm is where we're the main target of the whole thing. It would be right now roughly $1,800 to $2,000 per person. That's with no special discount or anything going on. That's just if you booked it right now by yourself. The idea is summer of 2026. If we get a group together, what we will do is we will have group events on board. So if you've ever been on a cruise, there's events that you do all day long. We can do group events for geocachers and our group on board. We can also do group dinners. So they would sit us together as we do this. This is all just on board the ship. So every night you can have the whole group. You wouldn't have to, but by Friday, you may not want to hang out with Gary anymore. But if you did, we have the whole group together. So every night for dinner. So the benefit of us all going at the same time is that we can arrange rides at the ports for geocaching trips together. So you don't have to go get an Uber or get one of these other things by yourself to go caching. We have groups of people arranging that ahead of time. And it just makes it a little safer. So obviously if we get a group, we'll have an event at every port. So you're guaranteed one cache in that country, no matter what. We would also, the advantage of that also would be if you're the only cacher in your group going, muggles can do their your snuggle muggles can do their thing. We can help find events for them, and we can all go out caching. So you don't have to do that. Hey, can I get this one little cache over here? Do you mind? We've all been through that. We would also do things like group photos. We would, as a group, research all the best caches that you can get within the time that you're in the port. Because, port times change from like 4 hours. They range all the way up to like 18 hours sometimes. So there's a huge amount of variance in there and what you can get safely and get back on the cruise, right? Connect with the locals. If we do this as a group, we will be reaching out to locals in each one of these countries, bringing them on the show, having them have people that we know before we get there, whether we meet up together or do events or whatever we're going to do. We'll do this as a project together and have people to meet together. Obviously, we'll do our research on the caches, connect with locals. If we do it as a group, then we would do things like path tags. We would do shirts because we're going to commemorate all this stuff, right? We'd all get together and make shirts for each other. We would probably try to, like we've done before for other megas and stuff in the past, we would gather a group of people that have adventure labs and put labs at each stop. And we would probably try to do a live show from the ship too, which we already talked about with the travel agent, and all these things are possible, and they would help us do all these things. They would do a bunch of cool onboard stuff for us, and they'd help us arrange this stuff off ship. So the reason we want to gauge interest here is, can we do this as a group? So if you're doing it individually, and many people have, you're taking a lot of risk upon yourself. As a group, we have the power to kind of like be safe in numbers, know that we're going to get the cash we want to get, do the research in bulk, and do it. So within the next 2 weeks, we want everybody to say, this sounds something like I would possibly want to do. Not everybody likes cruises. Not everybody likes to go international. So we want to see who might be interested in this. If we have a decent number of people, we'll meet with the travel agent and see what's real, build a group. Then we can have somebody that says, by this date, you need a passport. By this date, you need whatever this. You need a book by this date. It's just a way to bring everybody together to do it. And the bigger group we have that goes together, the more secure we are for every location and getting everything we want from it. We've been talking a lot about Jasmer and the fourth Jasmer. Obviously, for anybody that doesn't know, Match Statch is what we're going for, right? That's the one in Stockholm. That's the 4th August one. Even if you're not close to having it, you have to have that to get the quadruple Jasmer. So that's what we're hoping to get a group together to do, is to kind of safety in numbers, power of money in numbers, get us all together to go and do that. And this is open to all cachers everywhere. And that's kind of where we're at, right? I think, that's right now, all we're looking for is who's interested. In the next 2 weeks, if you say you're interested, you're not committed, let's see if there's enough of a group to put together that we would have any, power in numbers to be able to put something really cool together.
Yeah. And we're starting to get some emails already. So that's good news.
Good. If you're interested at all, let us know. And then we'll get into real details later, right? Numbers and everything else and what it takes to do it. But we want to know if there's actually interest to do this. Like, I definitely want to go one day, but me just going by myself, me and my wife going by myself, there's a lot of uncertainty there. Like, can I get to what I want to get to?
Yeah.
So I'd love to do it as a big group. I think it'd be fun. I think it's, again, safety in numbers, right? We're guaranteeing more that we're all going there for the same purpose, and we can put our brains together to make sure we get everything we want out of it. Because it's a huge trip for me, right? That's a huge trip for me. Some people do that all the time, but it's a huge trip for us. And it'd be fun to do it with 30 or 40 of my closest friends, from all over the world. So that'd be awesome.
Exactly. No, that's perfect. Yeah. Thanks, Jesse. Yeah. Email us for audio listeners, geocachetalk@gmail.com. We are international. So if you live in Sweden, or if you live in one of the Nordic or Scandinavian countries and you have suggestions for us, then send us an email. If you want to host an event locally, and we'll be there, and we can coordinate, something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Instead of, it's fine if we do it, but it's kind of fun too if we could get some of the local. You don't have a list of the countries, do you? As far as
it depends, right? So if we get people interested, then we'll look. I've already done research and we've talked to the travel agent. There's 3 or 4 cruises that would fit into this time frame.
Okay.
And it ranges from 4 countries up to 8 countries, depending on which cruise you pick, right?
Yeah.
The money is about the same. The direction you go is different. The time you would spend in Stockholm is the important thing, right? You can't be like in there, not in there. You need one that's got the biggest time in Stockholm, because that's the most. Oh my gosh! But you're going to get multiple countries out of this, no matter what.
Yeah,
absolutely. You're going to get multiple countries. But how awesome would it be? Like, say we do put this together, then we start reaching out to people in these. We know the 5 or 6 countries we're going to go to, right? We start intentionally reaching out to those 6 countries, start getting cachers to come on. We're going to have friends in those countries before we show up.
Yeah.
And you're talking 2026, right? So that's not this summer coming up. That's that's it's like a year and a half.
Well, we
have a year and a half to get to know people, and then go meet those people on the other side of the world that we've been talking to online, everything, that we have on the show. And we're going to find out a lot more about what's like the local stuff. Obviously, that one cache is the most important. But visiting these other countries,
go ahead.
So summer 2026, Ryan.
Well, I wonder though. I think Ryan's question, if I can interpret it right, and if I don't, Ryan, help me. But I think he wants to know like how long the cruise would be.
Oh,
is it like 8 days?
It would be 8 to 11 days, depending on which one we pick. Right, 8 to 11. Because there's ship time too, right? Besides the things, we can decide on that as a group. Right now it's a range of things, but if we do it as a group, it gives us a lot more power to like dictate, make it more of a geocaching cruise than just a cruise, and you get the geocache on the side. If that makes sense. Like, we can host events on board, do live shows because they have good Wi-Fi now. Do live shows, do all kinds of fun stuff, and really put together some good stuff. So I think it would be an awesome idea. If people are interested in it, send us an email.
Yeah. And I know I got to say for me, I'm excited. I've never been to Europe. I know when we were talking about this, I've always wanted to go. And just the fact of going together with this group, to me, that is so cool, because that's a big step for people. For many people, this could be a trip of a lifetime. But going with a whole bunch of your geocaching friends, man, it just sounds like it's going to be incredible.
Well, and we've talked about it before. I've gone cruising before and ran into geocachers, and it was the coolest thing ever on a cruise, right? Because it's so random. You have 3,000 or 4,000 people, and I ran into on the last one. I by chance ran into Alan Mogul, who, by the way, caches way harder than I do. I'll admit that in a heartbeat. If you haven't heard me say that before, there's a reason why that Joker has 3,000 caches. He is hardcore.
He's hardcore. You're
beyond anything I've thought about.
He very much is.
But it was just, and it was so cool just to run into a cacher on board, knowing there's got to be a few cachers on board, right? There's got to be.
Yep.
But having 40 or so cachers on board as a group, multiple tables doing dinner, having a breakout events and stuff like that, and shirts, and we could do events on board where we're hiding stuff, like a scavenger hunt on board and stuff. It would be hilarious. Giga Cruise. No Giga. Those are fake. We're doing a real thing. So,
don't the word Giga. If you say it 3 times, I think Jesse can't go. So
that's right. That's like Beetlejuice, right? I can't do that.
Reverse Beetlejuice,
Yeah. But I mean, we could do our own little crap on board, like hiding secret things and doing prizes and breakout events and all that fun stuff. Plus events at every port. You get an event. If we set this up, we can reach out to cachers locally and go, what's within the area of where we're going to be?
Exactly.
We have every type there. Just saying, just throwing it out there so we can get a busy day in all these ports. That would be pretty awesome. Awesome. So there's a lot of things we could do with power with numbers. But all right. So all right.
Good deal. Keep the emails coming. We've gotten several already. So thank you for those. We will put you in the list of interested.
Yes, interested.
And we will go from there. All right.
Just let us know your interest, gauging interest. Let's do that.
Gauging interest. But you need to email us, because
please do.
If you send it, if we start this process and then you're like, oh, I was interested. Well, did you send an email? No, I can't read minds. I'm pretty good about a lot of things.
And here's the hard truth of it is
can't read minds.
If we don't get enough people to say they're interested, we're not going to do this as a project, right? The truth is we have to have enough people to do it as a project. Otherwise, I mean, this is a huge undertaking. It will be huge, right? I know we always take on huge projects, but for it to have true power in numbers, we need a lot of people interested in this.
Yes.
Or we're not going to be able to get any value out of it, right? You might as well just go individually. Correct. So if you're interested, email in. That gives us power when we go back to the agent again. The travel agent is interested in a lot of people going. I don't mean hundreds, but we need a lot of people going or interested. Then she will be like, oh, here's all the things we can really do. Then it'll get really awesome. So, okay.
Very good. Thank you, Jesse. Okay. We're going to cover several technologies tonight. And I'm going to read some stuff. You guys tell me your thoughts. So let's start with augmented reality.
So much.
Oh man, love this one.
There's a lot with AR, but let's get into a couple things. So, there's different ways that it's been attempted. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I had the very first AR cache in Texas. Jesse had the first one in Colorado.
Yes.
And so we were both trendsetters and trailblazers.
Groundbreakers right there.
That's right. Actually, Gary texted me. You texted me on that one. You were like, hey, these are live. Put one out now. I was like, I'm going right now.
Quick. Hide one quick to be first.
I did. I was rushing to get that thing out because I wanted to be the first one. In case they kept it, I would have the oldest one alive, that kind of deal.
Exactly.
Oh, man, that would have been so cool.
And I did for a long time, but then that didn't work.
Yeah, so they killed it. Yeah, I had mine was survived up until they finally the reviewer told me I had to archive it. So that one survived for a while. So, what are y'all's initial thoughts about where we are at with augmented reality, and what do you think we can do today with augmented reality?
John, you go first. Here's the thing. I really think before John starts, because I know where he's going with this really AR should have been its own show.
I know.
All the other parts of this, I don't even know how we're going to get to tonight, but I'll shut up now because I'm about to go off on it, but go ahead. John, go for it.
No, I love it.
We've got what? We've got 9, 10, we got 12.
No
12
chance we're getting all those. Zero chance we're getting all those, Gary. Even if we weren't talking about the cruise, I think we could talk about AR all night. But I'll okay. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, absolutely. But
we'll do a part one. We'll do part two again. I agree.
Yeah, but
ahead,
AR. So, this one is like very exciting because I think when HQ attempted in the past before, it was like app oriented. And a lot of times, like, when you're trying to do things, I know when I was trying to do like a spectrogram based puzzle years ago, which I got approved, the question was there a web based version of a tool that could solve it? And there is. And, the cool thing now with augmented reality is there are, web based experiences that you can provide and use your cell phones to do that. And I think most people are familiar with augmented reality, where augmented reality, you're putting a layer over reality. So you're adding something to it. Which is kind of cool on that side, because if you can put things like locking them for GPS coordinates or to a specific location, you could put some cool hidden messages there that you can see in an app that other people can't. Just on that fact too, you can do things. I know Gary's going to talk about an app that he wants on this one, but just to think about that as cachers, because I know one project, and I know I could talk about this for a long time, but like the Civil War augmented reality project, if you know what that is, cool. If you don't, look it up. But what a cool way, because for history on that one, when you're going to a place, and with the Civil War augmented reality project, you're looking at a field, you're looking at a farmhouse, you bring up your phone, and now you're seeing the soldiers in front of it. And like, how incredible, how powerful is that from like historical perspective? And I know there's a bunch of folks who love historical caches. I know I do. But, just to even think about that, like what we could do with some cool cache experiences on that front, with having that augmented reality in place and overlaying those layers of history, even from a storytelling perspective, there's just so much potential. And I know with the tools on here, and there's a website that I actually found where you can create a web-based experience. I think these things are really going to be coming up a lot more for people to use. And I think once people see them, they're going to be a lot more powerful out there. But there's just so much you can do on this side for sure.
You've tested some stuff at the university.
Yep.
But I guess talk, because this kind of bleeds into the next one, which is virtual reality, which we'll get into that as well. But we're
not even close to that yet. Stay with AR for now.
Yeah. So I'm not familiar. Some of the things that came up in the list were like, I've heard of them. I don't know anything about Google Lens. Is that basically like Google?
Okay, you're jumping ahead. Wait.
AR goggles. Go ahead.
No,
all right,
you're jumping ahead. Okay,
go ahead.
I'll tell you what I'm going to get into, and there's three things I want to get to before we move out of AR. One is Where-I-Go. Shocker. There's a tie into Where-I-Go.
Big surprise.
2 is treasures, and 3 is glasses. Glasses is kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Here's the question I have to ask before I even start any of those 3.
Right.
Does geocaching.com or HQ or whatever we call it now, does it still say that geocaching is a high-tech treasure hunt?
Yeah.
That's still the slogan? Because if it is, everything we're talking about tonight should be incorporated at some time.
Yeah.
So it should be.
So real quickly, because I know Gary's got some. All right.
Go ahead.
Where-I-Go.
You got time.
Where-I-Go is already tied in. It's another app tied into location-based. When you get to a location, it already does audio, video. It seems obvious that we would add that into the Where-I-Go app. Right. AR overlaid into the Where-I-Go app. It's already built that way. It's just one more step away. They have a platform that they've neglected since 2008.
Yep.
This is where that should go. AR should go into Where-I-Go.
Right.
You build it. It's an overlapping app. While you're there, you're doing things. You're already setting those up that way anyway, right? Go to stage here. This is what you find. You hear this. You interact with this person. You pick up this item. Yeah. That is set up for AR perfectly. That's where Where-I-Go should go.
I agree.
Having said that, because they have not killed Where-I-Go, thankfully, but they have not done anything to it either, right? So
no.
AR Where-I-Go, that's what should happen. Update it, make it happen. Whoever up there is listening, signal, do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. And I think amateur Geocache's profitability would seem to dictate that XR is best added. And when we're saying XR, we're saying extended reality. So extended reality is kind of encompassing.
It's kind of like an all-encompassing, right?
Yeah, and virtual reality on that side.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it should be included in the Adventure Lab app. It should be included in the Where I Go on this one. There's just so much potential,
And Adventure Lab and Where I Go kind of are cousins, right? I mean,
they are. But you're right that there's so much that can go into. Well, when AR first came out, and I'm just not just saying this because Jesse's on here, but my first thought was the things that we did with Where I Go. So, for example, the one that we did together, where we're standing in a field and we're walking around, and if anybody looks at us, they're like, "What are those people doing?" It's like, well, we're trying to get through this. We're trying to go through this maze, virtually or augmented. It wasn't augmented. That was more VR. But anyway, but like you said, you can pick up tools, you can drop tools. I mean, that's very much XR, we'll call it. So
it is. It really is. It's like a really low tech version of it, right?
Yeah.
But so now here's the other thing that we have. So there's my pitch. Where I Go needs to be AR. Make it happen.
I agree.
Signal,
I'm with you.
Make it happen.
Signal, make it happen.
Number 2 is treasures. Treasures can be augmented reality now. So they could easily upgrade those now. They have the treasures, do this, do that. It's kind of overlaid to certain caches. It's kind of a step away from it now. They're doing, they've released the first 2 versions of it. You find a geocache, whatever. Which there's a little controversy I've heard online about those first 2 things, but we don't even have time to touch that tonight. But I'm sure y'all heard the same thing and everybody else has. But take that a step further. Add AR to those treasures. When you get there, you can see what you're going for, or it's an add-on overlay for, I think we talked about this either offline or online, but instead of just their things, have an ongoing one for FTF. That's never really been a thing. The first person that gets there claims it. You get that treasure. You get that. It's literally like a beacon that you get,
pick it up.
You kind of see it in the area where the GPS coordinates are. What about Lonely Cache? That's one they can put out all the time. After 180 days have passed, nobody's found it. It shows up on the map. Literally, when you're going there, it's it's
a beacon.
Augmented reality for it. Or this whole show by itself, but zombie caches.
I know.
Like it shows up with. I know. I don't even want to get into it. I know. But zombie caches. There should be. If the owner of that cache has not been there for a long time, a little zombie pops up on it.
I love it.
Some of you wouldn't go for that. I'd go for that in a heartbeat, right? You capture zombies. That's what
I'd be all over it.
Clean up the game board. That would be an awesome AR. Now, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I think the gameplay would be interesting on this one because it's like, do you know there's something when you go there, or do you go there and then you're in reasonable proximity and then you see the overlay and then you get like a big surprise factor where you're like, oh man, I didn't know this. You know what I mean?
How awesome would it be either way? You're like, oh crap, this is awesome. Like this brand new thing that's there, right? Not to mention interacting with it as part of the puzzle. That's a whole different level. But so now here's where we're going. If we're talking, this is current, but if you're talking future, and this is Gary, where I'll turn it over to you after this, but Google Lens. So glasses were my last thing. Those are going to happen.
Yep, they
Those
are.
failed before. They're going to happen. Glasses are going to be smart glasses. Just like watches are smart watches that didn't used to be. Glasses are absolutely. And AI was what we were waiting on that, which we're not even doing touch tonight probably. But the glasses, once you have glasses where you can look through, AR and geocaching go hand in hand. 100%. You don't need a phone anymore. You don't need your watch. You don't need your CarPlay, which is all those things are geocaching. Now you have glasses. You're just walking around. You're not even a weirdo with a clipboard and stuff anymore. You don't have to have any. You can see everything. Imagine what you can do with those glasses and AR and geocaching.
Yes,
that's a game changer. I know that's future. Not everybody has those yet, right? But people are gonna get them. There's no doubt in my mind that's going to be a stand. Everybody's going to have glasses on their face. And I know people might say that's not going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm predicting it now. We're recording this. It's going to happen. People are going to work because there's going to be too many advantages to it, right? Like, just like now you can pay with your phone. You can do so many things with your phone. The glasses are going to give you too many advantages. Everybody's going to have them.
Yep. How
that's going to benefit geocaching is nobody has to know you're geocaching. Your phone could be in your pocket, which actually would make you look like a weirdo. But, you don't have your phone out. But
yeah, really,
if you could be in your pocket, you're just walking down the street. You're really searching for geocaches, doing a multi-cache as it goes, interacting with it however you do.
Yep.
And there it goes. That's when AR and geocaching have to coincide because you'll have the glasses for it. Exactly.
Oh, they look like Ray-Bans.
Look like Ray-Bans.
Yeah.
So they're going to be as popular as smartwatches in the future. I don't know how many years for it. You have to know that geocaching is going to get there.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. I mean, you can solve puzzles right there and everything else. You're going to have computers and everything else to do it. That's whether we want to get there or not. If it's a high-tech geocaching game, we cannot say it is if we're using GPS as our high-tech technology.
Well,
that's not high-tech anymore, dude. We got to move forward.
Yeah. And you got to know it's got to go there. You know what I mean? Like things are moving there. For people who are creative hiders, I mean, start thinking of this. I mean, even if you do a Google search for like web-based augmented reality, you can start to find somewhere you can start to create things online, including like there was one from GitHub. So I mean, these are things that you can start doing now, that you don't have to wait into the future. I think, from all of our perspectives, is just like, this is one of those things. I mean, we're all a creative community here. Let's do it. I mean, HQ hopefully has it on the roadmap to start integrating these things a lot better into their app experience. And then hopefully they're working then on, definitely thinking about like AR and VR, because I know like we were talking about, it's kind of funny to me because it's like, if you look at the attributes, right, and saying, is there special equipment you have to buy to geocache? Well, you already have climbing gear required. You already have boat required.
Mm-hmm.
You already have scuba gear required.
Beacon.
Doesn't it make sense if they have an attribute where it's like VR like gear required or AR gear required, in order to do it? I mean, in some ways, like an AR gear or VR gear, it's a lot cheaper than buying a boat, guys,
Yeah.
So do you see AR and VR as we transition to VR? Do you see AR and VR as their own icons, or are they just going to throw all that under unknown?
I think you got to do it under attributes because it could apply in so many different ways.
See,
so
I think AR and VR, VR separately. I think AR, I don't know. So I could see it being its own icon because it's so much different. But I see how you're saying attribute too, because you could put it on anything, right? But
yeah, you can put
see it as the Whereago thing, right? Like you can combine anything, but as soon as you use a Whereago, it's a Whereago. As soon as you use AR, it's an AR.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm saying I think this is specialized gear you buy, like scuba gear. You know what I mean? VR gear or AR gear. You put the attribute on there, and people then know to get that cache. They have to have AR or VR gear in order to do it.
Yeah, you're winning me over a little bit. I kind of see what you're saying with AR. I'm not saying with VR. That's a step. We ain't got there yet. With AR, I can see that as an attribute because you could put that on most cache types, I think.
Yeah.
Even an event. Oh, man, we haven't even talked about that. Yeah. AR for an event. That's wow. We can do all kinds of stuff with that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, but like anyway, okay. We're moving to VR. If we're gonna make it do anything, we got to move to VR.
No, you're fine. Yeah, we do that. Speaking of VR, a couple things came to mind when we were putting this list together, which was Ready Player One. Watching that movie, I'm thinking, dude, that is so. Think about that as far as geocaching, like in the real world, and being able to see things. The whole thing. Anyway, but also Free Guy. Remember Free Guy? He puts the glasses on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Free Guy is like, whoa, there's stuff in front of me. I can't, you start seeing everything, which is incredible. But anyway, all right, we're moving on to virtual reality. We got some others to do. What in the virtual reality space did we not sort of cover in the XR sort of talk we've been having so far?
You want to hit it first, John? Because I
I'll
definitely have an idea with this one.
So, back in the day, Jesse and Gary did a great show upon puzzles and mystery and what could be one of those. And including Jesse showed like, hey, here's a video game I created that you have to play to get the coordinates where the cache is hidden. So, just kind of think about that. You could do that in virtual reality too. Give people an experience that they could do at their house, and then they go through that and then they get the coordinates. But I mean, I was thinking too, this is a cool one. Coming back to history on this one, because imagine on this one, right? There's like a very cool historical site, Let's suppose I'm going to visit Gary down in Texas, right? And I've only been to Texas once. But imagine if I had VR gear that I could go to some historical site and go into like a simulated past experience, walk through those grounds, get clues, solve puzzles, and then get the coordinates. So then when I go down to Texas to visit Gary at this cool site, I then go see what it looks like now, and then I can go find the cache at that location. How cool would that be?
Well, like you said about the thing like the Alamo, the Alamo is it's there still, but there's everything else. It's all modern around it. There's streets around it. But if you could do VR where you've got the same building, but yet you're going through a VR version of the Alamo where you've got all the plain, all the open plains and all this, back then San Antonio was this little small town, little town. And the Alamo was sort of, kind of a little bit away from the it's just a little mission, there would be, like you said, there's so many things you could do with that to augment the experience of finding a cache.
I was thinking exactly what you're thinking, John, too. And both of y'all, but I see VR as a whole separate category, kind of like puzzles, right? So I was had a multi this week, so I was going over a lot of the rules with this stuff. Like multi, you're supposed to be able to solve in the field, and puzzle with multi stages, you're supposed to be able to, it's okay to like have to go home and solve it and come back and do the next one. Multi, you're supposed to generally be able to solve it in the field for each one of those, even if it's hard. So I see this as kind of like that. I think VR is you solve it where you're doing VR.
Right.
Now, it may be that you're going to the Alamo and you solve all these puzzles, whatever it is. It could be multi-cache, whatever from that point, right? You do your adventure, whatever. You find the cache, and then the cache is in that real location in real life.
Yeah.
Right? It mirrors real life. So then after you've done that, it gives you the chords. It also shows you found it where it's hidden, even if it's behind like a fake brick in a wall or whatever. And when you go to the real location, it mirrors that. So I see this as its whole separate icon because it's so different. Like you don't overlay VR onto every other cache type. I see it as its own cache type.
Separate.
You solve it at home, then you go do the real world experience after that.
Makes sense.
Possibly.
That's way far ahead, but
I could see like a puzzle, but even like imagine like you're doing like VR like in the moon, you know what I mean? So imagine like you're like on that moon type of environment, and then you're going down to like Florida where the like space shuttle and rockets took off that then landed on the moon. So it's not like that exact location. It's like a different location, and then you're going to another point where it kind of connects with that. That's kind of cool too, No,
absolutely. But I still see it as two separate events, like what you do in VR and then going out separately. And like, I don't see you bringing VR in the field. I see you doing VR at one location. You get whatever information you need. Then you go out in the field to find the actual cache. Like I see it as two different stages. Are you seeing it differently than that?
Yeah, you could, because on a lot of VR, nowadays with like headsets, you can go out onto a site and then walk around as well too. So you could use that as a way to kind of even extend the experience onto that one. Like,
I guess I see that as AR versus VR.
AR is just an overlay, but I mean, you could do something like immersive, like a fully immersed environment, like on the site.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like even if you went down to NASA or SpaceX where they're doing some sort of launch and you could say, okay, go to the rocket. When you go to the rocket stage, you can unlock Mars. To go to Mars, you're going to take your VR headset, go to this parking lot, from here, and then walk around there. And then it's like you went to Mars,
Yeah. I guess I'm worried about people having a VR headset on walking around in public.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a future thing, right? I don't see it happening now, but I definitely see it as a really immersive adventure leading to the information, right? Like unlocking the puzzle.
Well, what was some of your experience, John? Because y'all tested some VR headsets, right, at the university?
Yeah, some VR, and they do AR as well too on that one.
Okay.
But it's interesting when you talk to people too, because I know for like, and those who don't know, I work in higher education. I attended some meetings with a group of people doing like XR, like at universities across the United States. And for some of these folks too, I think it was Cornell University, they were actually doing like a 3D video overlay of like a clean lab. So they were actually going in with 3D video cameras, recording it, and then importing that into software that they could then actually create quizzes on. So that people, when they had the VR gear, because going into clean environment, it's very expensive and you don't want people to go in there who aren't trained. So if you could actually have people go into like VR, that was recording the video, go through there, and then have interactive elements like a quiz, then they could learn things and do it that way too. So, it's interesting because, I mean, virtual reality content, I mean, you could create through like programs like Blender or Unity that, create that kind of content, but that video created content is also a pretty cool possibility too, to do that. So, I mean, there's a lot of different interactive applications for people to do that. Absolutely. Yeah, and amateur Geocache's lab simulation super helpful with XR. Yeah, absolutely.
I can see that. Now, what stops us other than HQ? What stops us from using some of these things today? And I'm not trying to say how to skirt around the guidelines, but what are some things we can do today that you think your reviewer would be like, okay, that's acceptable, or is there really none?
So I think the big thing is you have to do it web-based. If you're doing a specialized application that you have to download, your reviewer will probably not permit that. So if you can find a web-based XR or VR experience that you can provide to people, I think at that point, I don't see any reason why, if you could do it on common hardware like your phone or on your computer, that they would deny it. But if it was an app that you had to download to a device and then have specialized hardware to view, I could see reviewers denying that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think as long as you can go to a website and you don't have to create an account, right?
Okay.
They would allow it. So there's a lot of things out there. But you can imagine, so let's say if you had a website or hosted a website or were able to get to a website, if you could do these things, like the lab makes me think about it, right? Like Gary's going to groan when I say this, but like an Earth cache, there's a lot of simulated online things you could do to do an experiment, right? Because one of the categories for Earth caches is tools, geologist tools, right?
Yep.
So you could do some virtual experiments that if you completed them would give you the answers to something. There's a lot of things you could do with these for every category, besides puzzles and history and, Earth cache, science, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I think that's what's holding you back. Like John said, like you can't download an app. You can't force somebody to download an app. You can't force somebody to sign up for an account for something. And it's obvious why, right? Like security and all that, privacy and stuff. But if you had a website that would do those, like in the past, we've had inner caches, we've had mob caches, things like that. Which, are all of those dead now? I know Intercache
mob
is dead,
caches
right?
are, intercaching is not.
Intercache is alive, mob cache is dead.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I tried to do an intercache recently, and I just didn't get to finish it. It was too long, but mob caches are dead. So that's proof that if you have a website they can go to, don't have to download anything, they'll allow it. So what we need is a website that would allow us to do some of these technologies. VR would be difficult because you have to have equipment. I think we would be pushed back on that.
I can see that.
AR, if it was just a website and it was just on the phone, so you could do it in the field, I think you'd be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know of those, but I mean, I hope somebody does in the emails and let us know. But I think you could use those now if no downloaded apps and no user accounts. And now, could you?
Free. Yeah.
Let's say it's somewhere that you have to make up an account. Could you give the user the account name to sign in with it?
Right.
So they'd have to sign up their own,
so it's free.
And geocachetalk@gmail.com, and the password is
Get
your cache 111, right? I don't know if that would work or not.
Good question. That's a really good question. Yeah, and Jesse, I want to back up to a comment you made on earth caches, man, because I mean a lot of this stuff could be really powerful for earth caches because, like, if you're talking about erosion, glaciation, and you're going to that site and like putting on gear or checking out on your phone and seeing that overlay, and you can see an overlay of all this stuff in action.
Yeah.
Man, how much more powerful would that be for learning? That would be like incredible.
Huge. And that's what earth caches are supposed to be, right? You're supposed to learn something without destroying the environment.
Right.
So, I think there's a way to do it. And I think with all the smart cachers out there, I mean, like, look what people have built with, gadget caches. They built some amazing things with Arduinos and all these smart caches. I think people can do AR and VR right now. I think they can find a way to do it right now. Now, does it take a lot of work? Yeah. And is everybody going to jump on board immediately? No, they're probably not. But if somebody comes up with a way to do it now, I think it'll get more and more popular, and it'll add a whole nother category of geocaching, like the real high-tech part. Like, there's not a lot of high-tech part to geocaching right now.
No.
Cell phones are not high-tech anymore. They replaced, GPSs, right? Like, cell phone is normal technology. What's the high-tech part? It was kind of Arduino for a while, but that's really commonplace as well. 3D printing, very commonplace as well. We're not pushing in the high-tech part now, which is going to be AR, VR, AI, stuff like that. That's what we consider high-tech now, right? So that's where we need to push if we're going to be the high-tech, scavenger hunt. So I think this is the natural direction for this stuff to go.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right. We're not getting past this. We're not getting past this. These two tonight. We'll have to do a part 2 another night for all the other ones. So let me bring up a couple things, a couple notes, and I want to get y'all's thoughts on. One is it is one that's intriguing, but I think it's dead in the water. But again, viewers and listeners could probably help us on this one. But it's an app called Wallame. Not Wallaby. That's a different.
That's the Australian
app.
one.
Yeah, Wallame. M as in Mary. E. Wallame. Wallame is. It's intriguing to me for puzzle purposes. It could be used for other things as well, but you basically take a picture and you can put into the picture graffiti. You can put in the answer to a puzzle, or you could put in the lock to the lock combination, et cetera, et cetera. The problem is, as we talked about before, and I don't think there is. I think you have to download the app to make Wallame work. So I think it's dead in the water. But if there was an online version, that would be kind of cool. But anyway, so that's Wallame in case anybody wants to take a look at that. So my next question to you guys is, does it seem like we have stepped back? I'll answer the question already. We've stepped back. Geocaching started down the road of AR, and then they stopped.
Yes.
And we've got plenty of people out there who are both lovers and haters of geocaching who love Pokemon Go, which is AR. It's just AR. I mean, you pull it up right now and I can look on my screen. There's probably a creature in front of me standing, right in front of me that I can go try to capture. Do we think that Treasures is geocaching's attempt to get back into the Pokemon world type situation where you go to a cache and you're going to be able to see something at that cache? Is that what the treasures are going to be, you think? Or is it less AR? Sorry, is it less AR and is it more online digital souvenir stuff? It's not really, it has nothing to do with AR or VR.
So that's the one. It's interesting when you hear Brian talk, because I mean, for me, I would say my hope is it could be. For Brian, it seemed like there was a lot when he was on Challenge Talk, like describing what treasures could be. Right. And it was difficult to understand from him, like what the roadmap was. It described like a lot of potential features out there. So, I mean, from that perspective, I'd say I'm optimistic. I do want to say too, for geocaching trying AR, that was cool. That was cool that they tried AR, they got into it. Yeah. Geocaching should be about trying new technologies out there. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So I know for me personally, I appreciate them trying AR at that time to get into it. But certainly I'll let Jesse chime in with his thoughts on this one too.
All right. So I'll be nice about this, but I'm not going to be nice about this. So here's the thing. I kind of put all these things together. And now I'm going to first, little caveat. I understand what HQ has to go through, right? I'll say this to them just like I'd say it to anybody else. They have to please a lot of people that don't agree. They have to please 3 million people. We give our own opinions, right? I have to please me. So it's way different, right? However, not everything has gone great. And I'm going to preface this with geocaching challenges, not challenge cache.
Right. But
we
the
all
original
remember that was geocaching challenges.
Yeah.
Terrible. I'm pretty sure they would admit they royally screwed that one up. It did not work, but then they took them away from people.
Yes.
Don't take something off your stats. For a stat-driven group, don't do that.
Yeah.
That loses, that shakes your confidence in what you're doing. Because people spend a lot of money traveling just to get stats, right?
Sure.
Those are pulled out of your stats. When they learned from that, they closed benchmarks, which is not necessarily a stat, but it did show up. They didn't remove them. They just locked it. Perfect. Do that every time.
Lock it. Yeah.
Then we did AR. Better. They attempted it. It didn't work. They just shut it down eventually. Again, I agree. Do that. That's how you test things. But then they do things like leaderboard. Now, we got to test this personally, so I got more excited about this. It didn't really go anywhere. And we all saw the potential. We personally hyped the potential of it. We loved it. I had a blast, testing it out. And they haven't done anything with it. And a lot of us see the potential there, and they're not doing anything with it. So to me, leaderboard and where I go are kind of in the same category. I see the huge potential there, but it's just sitting and sitting. And leaderboards are not going anywhere. So treasures, I want to get excited and hype them up. Just like I would hope to hype up AR and VR in the future. Mm-hmm. But are treasures going to go anywhere? Should I get excited about them? Is it just their own version of badge gen?
Maybe.
Kind of seems like it might be.
Yeah.
Which I'm not totally against if they're going to stay with it. Because, I've maxed out badge gen, right? I don't know about you guys. I love it. I love badge gen. It's not really a part of geocaching, but it's geocaching adjacent. Yeah. And I'll get those diamonds on everything I can get. I love it. For all of y'all that know what I'm talking about, diamonds are the way to go, and then looping your diamonds, right?
Yep.
but I ran out, just like the black belt thing. That kind of went away. Nobody really cares about that anymore. Once you got your top black belt, max it out, that don't happen anymore. But if that became a part of real geocaching and the treasures become a thing that's like, shoot, I'm going for this, and there's a bunch of them and you're doing it and you continue to do it, I'm all on board for it, man. I'll support that. I'll buy the t-shirt. I'm there for it. I want it on my profile and everything else. But if it's something they're like, we'll try this, find one traditional, you get one, find 3 more, you get the second one, and then we're going to think about it for 9 months. That's hard to buy into. They don't necessarily always move forward with everything. Like, again, I don't want to harp on it, but do some of the leaderboards, please. Those are awesome. Like, just give us the opportunity. I will pay extra. I would literally pay a larger price for my geocaching membership to have a leaderboard that I could do with my friends. And we set our own thing and we compete against each other. Or the state does it. Or what, there's like the state group or whatever else. That would be awesome for me. I know it's not for everybody.
Yeah, Georgia.
I would double my membership for that today. Say you can set your own leaderboards. You can compete against people. Boom, I'm in. You just doubled my membership. But there's a little part of me that's like, I'm afraid to get excited about treasures. I really am. So
I hear
you know what I mean? I hate to be that way, but I'm afraid to get excited about it because when I get excited about something, that's my thing. I'm going all in on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think you're right, Jesse. I mean, I think there's so many things.
When's the last time you even opened up the leaderboard?
I don't.
Yeah. I know. I mean, like, I got to ask you a question, Jesse, because it's interesting. Like some software providers, they list like, hey, here's the features, have the community upvote the ones that they want. Like if Geocaching HQ came to you and said, like in the forums here, opening up to people, upvote the features that you want coming down the pipe or returning, on this one.
Yeah.
How would you feel if they did that?
Name a feature. I'll tell you 100%. What feature are we talking about? Because I'll tell you, leaderboard.
So if we're talking leaderboard, if they're saying like, okay, leaderboard,
here's the deal.
Development, AR, VR on here.
You know, make my head explode here.
Treasures.
Right. Okay, one at a time. One at a time. Leaderboard. Bring it back, but give us control of it. Make it selective, right? So my problem is because we've been doing this podcast for many, many years, I've connected with a crap ton of people. And I'm very happy about that, right? Yeah. I have geocaching friends. I don't mean the ones I met in person, but I mean like, how you connect with them. You're connected, you request friendship or whatever. With a crap ton of people all over the world, including people that I've met in person and haven't. Well, my group includes Mondo 2, Alamogul, all these people that I cannot compete with on a daily basis. I want to be able to select my group of friends. So if they brought leaderboard back and had it where like you could sign up like, okay, for now, this is our group. And I know that is kind of Munzie-like, how they did the Munzie groups or whatever. I can't remember the name of them, but you know what I'm talking about, right? The Munzie groups, you compete against the teams or whatever.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
That would be an awesome feature for those that are competitive. And yes, I agree with K-Blast that HQ hates competitiveness.
They do.
But let me be competitive against my friends. And I would love that. We could set up our own challenges. We could set up our own, all those things. It would be awesome. So upvote that one 100%.
And then Owen's comment, it would be nice to create tabs or different groups within different leaderboards, similar to what Retired Guy did with Cache Odyssey.
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine being able to do that? That'd be awesome. You're competing against your Jasmer group or your multi-group or your FTF hounds or whatever. Oh, because they could do that with treasures. But anyway, there's so many things you could do with leaderboard. So many possibilities with leaderboard.
Oh, absolutely.
That would be a huge upvote. It goes without saying that where I go, just do something with it.
That's the only leaderboard.
Please do something with where I go.
Just
it has something. So much AR potential. It has so much potential. Do something, like it seems like, I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but it seems like the only thing they care about right now, other than this treasures thing, is lab caches.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's the only thing they've updated in like over a year, other than Treasures, which is kind of digital as well. So they're really pushing this digital stuff and not anything to enhance the actual physical geocaching.
Well, and I got to put out there,
here's
you know,
here's the only leaderboard I go to. This one right here.
Driven game. You know, if HQ had like here's our roadmap for the next year, you know, and people got behind it and then made caches aligned with that, that would be a really good way to engage the community. You know what I mean? So if they're saying like, hey, here's this feature here, if they released it to everybody, okay, release it to everybody. If they released it to like a certain group on that, they could do that too. That would be cool. But yes, sorry, Gary, to interrupt you on that leaderboard, because I mean, a big shout out to Retired Guy and Sloth 96 for all their work.
Oh, that's awesome.
In putting together the leaderboard, because if people haven't checked it out,
that's the only leaderboard I go to, is that one.
Yeah, I love it. I go and check it out, even though I haven't been able to find but anything but one, and I want to get my trips going. But John, you brought up something that I was really not going to talk about, but I'm going to do it anyway. You mentioned that roadmap, and people would get on board. Why is there any value in doing the frog hides? You know, they're doing that. This is the theme of caches to hide right now. Hide something that's a frog and tag it on Instagram. Why are we doing that? Why are we doing frog related hides right now? Does that accomplish anything? Does
just
that
something
move
to throw out
any on our game? I don't want to get negative about stuff, but come on.
Oh man,
I'm hiding a frog themed hide.
You're opening up a can of worms there, pal, because it's just kind of like, who are they aiming for with that? Because I mean, for season cachers, like if you want to hide, you're gonna hide, right?
Yes.
Like, is it like a gateway hiding experience for people who have never hidden, and they're like, I don't know what to hide, and it's like, hey, you could hide a frog themed hide, and it's like, okay, I guess for my first hide, I'll hide a frog themed hide, you know?
What does that accomplish? I don't get what it accomplishes. I don't understand. It's not moving forward with our stuff, right? Like, is it going to bring
digital souvenir? Do you get digital souvenir for that?
You don't get anything for it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You should at least get a digital souvenir, right?
I guess, but at the same time, it's kind of like.
But no point.
Here's the thing.
No point.
Oh my gosh. So you can't do a challenge or an event to encourage hiding, but HQ is going to encourage hiding a frog themed cache. You know, hide a good cache. How about that? Yeah. Here's our theme for the month. Hide a cache that doesn't suck.
Hide a decent
cache. Way better than like, you know.
Wait, so are people going to get the Memphis Mafia virtual badge for hiding a cache this month that didn't suck? Is that what you're saying?
100%. I will design that now, and I will send it to you. Hide a cache that doesn't suck.
But it can't suck. If it sucks, you're not getting it.
If you hide a crappy cache that's a pill bottle that you didn't scrape your name off of before you put it under a lamppost, I will send you a badge that says, I suck at hiding caches. Just let me know. I will send that to you. Because we have that cache already. We already have you as a cacher. We don't need another one. Let's that's off the point. I'm sorry. We got so off track. But come on. You brought that up.
I did.
You're right.
Frog cache? Stop. Just stop with that. That's not stop using your brain power on that. Go back and rebuild where I go. Move back there. Let's go back and do that. There's people out here that love them. You know what I mean? Let's do that. Let's just do that. I understand that not everybody does, but come on.
I think he wants the I suck at geocaching.
He doesn't hide any crappy caches, so he can't get one.
No, they want the Memphis one. This cache didn't suck. Hide.
He wants, like maybe that's it. Maybe Owen wants the good one. Maybe that's what it is.
Here's the thing, like this. Like one more thing they can sell in their store. I don't even think they want to make money because they could make so much money every day and they don't choose to do it. I don't think they sell that much in that store. I really don't think they make that much money off of that.
I don't think so.
I really don't know how they're staying afloat because I would be selling crap. It's a good thing I don't run geocaching. I've said this a million times.
Premium memberships.
I'd be selling crap nonstop. Like, you want a webcam? How much money you got? You know what I mean? Like, we can do this. We can do this right now. But
webcam, $2,500.
Oh man.
Locationless, 5,000.
You know, guys, what I realize people should have on this one for an augmented reality experience, an augmented Memphis Mafia with them in the field who analyzes the caches that they're looking at quality wise, and then provides you that authentic Memphis Mafia feedback.
So
no augment nothing. Just come down here to Florida and we'll go caching. We don't need to augment anything.
So John, you're a doctor. You're a university expert on the latest. Can you build for us a virtual Memphis Mafia that when I'm at Gigastock, I can look over and I can wave at Jesse at Memphis Mafia, and he can wave back going, I made it. I'm here. I made it. Can you do that for me, please?
Yeah. Gary, we can try. We can try anything, my friend. Yeah.
We're going to try to do that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't need this kind of abuse.
All right. So speaking of, I think we're done. Oh gosh. Oh, and I will hide a pill bottle LPC for the badge. That's pretty funny.
Do we want to preview what we're going to do on part 2? Because we didn't get very far at all.
Hawaiian Miley says I'm hiding a tiny spotter at the top of a metallic sign. Does that suck?
No,
it might be good. Who knows?
First of all, I'm not hating on frogs because
5-2.
Every time I find one of the caches that's got I know it's me, but when you got the little animal and they got the bison shoved up its part, I get that a favorite point every time because it makes me laugh every single time. It's worth. They went through effort to actually make it funnier, and it's not just a bison tube. And I think that's hilarious. That's all it takes. It's not that hard.
Yeah. I found the fake hot dog with the bison tube in it and gave it a favorite point because it was funny. Yeah.
Why not?
Okay. We got so much to cover next time. I guess there's a list. We got 12 items we're gonna get to the next episode. Well, we'll see how far we get.
Yeah, okay.
Some of them we covered, like NFC we've covered before, so we probably won't spend much time on NFC because I've got NFC caches out in the real world. That's already kind of out there. But we'll cover the others. We'll keep the rest. We'll keep the rest in the bean pot, and we'll see what we get for those next time. So, all right. Well, I think we're done. Anything final thoughts?
Yeah, I got a couple final thoughts on this one for sure. And
definitely
a shout out on this one too, on that side. So just to let people know and just to remind people, we got Gadget Talk coming up on Tuesday, directional lock puzzles. It's February 25th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Excellent.
On that side. Excellent. So tune in. We got a great, awesome community of creative hiders on that one. So so that's been awesome. But closing thoughts on this one, right, is and this comment was brought up a few times in the chat room, right? Mm-hmm. It's like the game of geocaching needs to change for younger generations, and younger generations are using a lot of these technologies.
Sure.
If we're talking about like AR and VR. And I know, for HQ, like Adventure Labs was one of those ways of trying to bridge the gap to that younger generation, that younger group. So, that's a step, but really augmented reality and virtual reality need to be on that roadmap in order to really make it a lot more applicable for people to have those kinds of experiences on that side. Because, especially with VR, when you're doing that and you're in a virtual world and you're exploring stuff, that's pretty awesome. But if you can figure a way to connect that with actually going out in the real world, I think that's going to be a lot more powerful, and that's a big opportunity.
That'd be awesome. I want to. I don't want to live in the post-apocalyptic Ready Player One with the crazy towns these people lived in, but the experiences that they went through to find the keys.
Oh yeah.
It was so incredible that basically people spent every dollar they had on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, if we could do that, if we could have that kind of reality, and also, other than just geocaching is incredible in itself. But if you could add on the technology of some of those things, then you would be like, oh my gosh, it would go in, it would go up incredibly, I think. So, all right, Jesse, we'll let you do the final word tonight.
So I'll just quickly say yes to both of what y'all said. But if we're going to still claim that geocaching is a high-tech treasure hunt, right?
Yeah.
We have to make things high-tech. That changes, right?
Yeah.
That changed from the year 2000 when geocaching came out, right? It's a quarter of a century later. High-tech is not the same as it was 25 years ago. So we're either going to change the name or what we call it, or catch up with the times, right? Like we have to incorporate the new things. There's so many things we didn't touch on tonight with AI and QR codes and, NFC chips and everything else that you can really lump into that high tech category. But you can't call something high tech and you're still referring to a GPSR that you walk through the woods with. That's not right. You can't say it's high tech and refer to a cell phone that everybody and their grandma has. That's not high tech. We've got to, if we're going to do high tech, we got to move in with the times. And it's only going to happen. And this is no diss on HQ, right? But HQ is not going to be the one that leads this initiative. It's going to have to be geocachers.
Yeah.
HQ is the one that follows and eventually adapts. That's just how they do.
Yep.
It's going to be geocachers. Geocachers are what drove all the new icon types. It wasn't HQ going, hey, here's this new type, check it out. It was geocachers that drove all of that. If there's going to be an AR cache, if there's going to be a VR cache, it's going to be driven by geocachers. So if we want to see this high tech, which is really high tech, we're going to have to drive that initiative.
No,
and
you're right.
I think we can. We have people out there that are super smart, that are doing super crazy things with caches. Let's see what we can do. Let's make these things happen. And HQ so popular that HQ can't deny it. And then it's part of the game.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, there you go, everyone. We will, we'll see everybody soon. And definitely don't forget, email us if you want to be on the list of folks that are interested in the trip.
It's Quadjasmer. If you're going to ever do it, you might as well do it with a whole group of fun people.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. If you're ever going to hit Quadjasmer, why would you not do it with somebody?
Yeah.
Don't take the chance to do it by yourself.
Yeah, make it fun, and like you said, it's always fun to find caches with our folks. Also, it really does benefit, like you said, Jesse. There's people that would love to do this, but they're not going to do it on their own just because of, they may not feel comfortable traveling internationally all the time, or even have never done something like that. 100%.
Sure. Yes. 100% we will be. Because we're all going to need it. We're all going to need them. We're all going to need Quadjasmer. So, just real quick with that too. If you're a single cacher and only going by yourself, this is the perfect way for you to go do it, right? Because we can group people together that wouldn't have anybody, because it's way more expensive to go as a single person on a cruise than it is to go with somebody else. We can find groups to go together. We can pair people up and everything else with a big group like this in safety without you having to pair up with a rando somewhere. So make it way better for a lot of people. So send us your email. We need it within 2 weeks, or this is a dead project and we're going to have to move on to something else.
Yep. Perfect. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on the next show. Good night, everybody.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
May your finds be many and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.